Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 48th tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we're going to check out how we can install the MySQL connector for Python, and then how we can execute some SQL code using Python and MySQL, right? So the first thing that I'm going to ask you guys to do is you'll have to open your web browser and make a Google search for MySQL connector for Python, right? And you'll have to follow the first link that appears on the screen, and that's to download the connector. And I'm assuming that you already haven't downloaded the connector and it's not installed in your systems. If it is, then you can skip the first couple of minutes of this tutorial, and you can get on to the rest of the tutorial in which I've discussed how we can execute some SQL code. So anyway, if you don't have the setup installed, then on this page you'll have to select your operating system. So if you're a Microsoft Windows user, then you can let this be. Otherwise, if you're a Mac OS user, then you'll have to select Mac OS here, right? And then you'll also have to select the download link that corresponds to your version of Python. So if you're a Python 3.3 user, then you'll have to click on the download button here. And when you click on the download button, you'll be asked to sign in with your Oracle username and password, right? And you'll have to sign up on the Oracle Technology Network. And if you haven't done that, then you should, because that gives you the liberty to download any of Oracle's products. So MySQL now is an Oracle product, and so is Java, and so is Oracle the database. So if you want to download any of those tools, then you'll have to sign up on OTN, and I've already signed up, and that's why I wasn't redirected to that page, and I have signed in actually. So when I clicked on download, the setup file was automatically downloaded for me, right? And to execute it, I'll just have to click on it and give it permission to run on my system. And when I do that, it's not going to take much time to install the thing, because it's a 110.5 KB size, as you can see here, and it's a Python script file. So Python script files generally run fast, right? So to test whether the setup file was installed successfully or not, what you'll have to do is you'll have to type in import and then mysql.connector, which is the name of the package, right? So when you do that and press the enter key, if you don't get any traceback error here, it means that the file has been installed properly. Right now, in order to execute SQL code, you'll have to first establish a connection with some MySQL database, and to do that, we're going to create a connection object using the connect function of this module. So let's say I want to call my object CONN, right? Short form for connection or connect. And then I'll type in the assignment operator and then mysql.connector, the name of this module, and then I'll follow that up with a dot and then the name of the function that I have to use, which is connect. And this function takes 4 arguments. The first one is the username, and my username for my MySQL databases is root, so I'm going to type in that. And then the second argument is the password, right? So you type in password equals and then your password, and my MySQL password is my name itself, so that's Madhur. And then the next argument has to be the host name, right? So for that you have to type in localhost, right? So you type in localhost here, and the last argument is actually optional. So if you don't want to connect to any database, but just to MySQL, then you just execute this function this way. But if you want to connect to some existing database, and you type in as the last argument database equals, and let's say I want to connect to a database called test, and I'll show you the database. In fact, here's my MySQL workbench, and these are all the databases that I have. So I have a database Joomla and Sakila, Strepsils, and there's this database called test, right? And in this database I have 3 tables: employee, tutorial, and tutorial_info. And in this course I am not going to discuss all SQL that there is to learn, because I've already created another series of tutorials on SQL. So if you guys want to revise SQL, or if you don't know what SQL is, if you want to learn it, then you can check out my series of tutorials on SQL, and it's on YouTube, right? So I'm going to connect to the test database, and once I've supplied all the 4 arguments, I just have to press the enter key to create my connection object. And again, if you don't get any trace back here, then you're good to go, right? So the next thing that we'll have to do to execute SQL code is we'll have to create a cursor, right? And let's say I want to call my cursor, and a cursor is nothing but a messenger between Python and MySQL. So through the cursor you're going to instruct Python to get something from the MySQL database, and then eventually do some stuff with it, like view it, or store it in a text file, or whatever. So I want to call my cursor, and I'll use the assignment operator, and then the name of the object that I've just created, which is con, follow that up with a dot, and then I'll use the cursor method, right, which is cursor, and then follow that up with a pair of empty parentheses. I'll press the enter key to create it, and now I can execute all the SQL that I want to execute. So let's say I want to check out all the tables that I have in my test database, right? So what I'll do is I'll type in my cursor, right, the name of the cursor object that I've just created, and then follow that up with a dot, and then the name of the method that I have to use, which is execute, and within parentheses and double quotes I'll type in the SQL that I have to run to see the tables. So the command is show tables. I'll type in that, and then you press the enter key, and you won't see your tables just as yet. You'll have to do one more thing, and that is you'll have to use the fetch all method to see the results. So I'm going to use a print function to see the results, and what I'll have to do is I'll have to type in my cursor, name of the cursor object, and a dot, and then fetch all, right, and a set of empty parentheses. So that's a method that you will be able to use with your cursor object. When I press the enter key, I see that I've got 3 tables: employee underscore view underscore new, and then well, actually this is a view, it's not a table, but it's displaying me the views as well. So I've got 3 tables: employee tutorial and tutorial underscore info, and then I've got this one view in the database, right? And let's say you want to find out what version of MySQL you're running. So the command for that is you'll have to use show variables command with the version passed as an argument through the like operator. So what you'll do is you'll type in my cursor, because it's a fresh command that we're executing, so we'll have to use the execute function again. So my cursor dot execute, and then within parentheses you type in this show variables and like, and then between 2 percentage symbols you type in version, right? And after doing that you press the enter key, and there is some error with the command that we've just executed. What's the error? Oh, okay, I got it. So what you have to do is you have to enclose this bit within single quotes, right? So the %version part, you have to enclose that within single quotes, and now when I do that and press the enter key, I won't get an error. So with this we actually have got to know something else. So what happens is you first see traceback errors that Python throws at you, and then you also see MySQL returning some errors to you. So the MySQL error code is 1064, and it tells you that you have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to your MySQL server version for the right syntax to use near. So it tells you that this is the place where you have an error. And the next thing that you have to do is, again, as I said, you have to make a call to the fetch all method. So type in print, and within parentheses you type in my cursor dot fetch all, and a set of empty parentheses. When I do that, I see that the version of MySQL that I have installed is 5.5.32, right? So that's it for now. I'm going to see you guys in the next tutorial, in which we'll continue our discussion on using SQL in Python. And I hope you guys had fun watching this tutorial, and you may subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and you can check out my series of tutorials on SQL if you want to learn more SQL. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Till then, take care.